What is up, boys and girls, ladies and gentlemen, day traders, closet swing traders? Hope you guys are doing absolutely fantastic. Hope you guys are feeling good today. Hope you guys are feeling a little bit better than the SPY and the Qs. But what makes me feel good is we got Alex in the house. Good morning. We got Bill. We got Brian. We got Christopher, Fayaz, Fabrice. I mean, already we got an all-star team, but then we add Franco. We got Greg K. Good morning, Gerline. We got Hector's in the house. Hector, I woke up today and I wanted some Cuban coffee. I'm not even gonna lie. I was like, man, I don't know. Jason P. King, good morning. We got Jay in the house. Good morning to Joe, Lauren, Marcus, Remco. I can't just say Remco. It's got to be extended. Remco, good morning to Rick. We got Rock in the house. Good morning to Ron, Tanya, Win. Yes, sir. Good morning to Richard Jet. Richard, I just got your email. I think you sent me yesterday. I just got it right before I hopped in. So, number one, appreciate the kind words. And number two, right after I hop off, I'll get back to you on that. Daniel, good morning. We got Jeff Pierce. Scott, Richard says, if you wanted to buy an option to benefit from the earnings run-up, how far in advance would you want to buy? Usually about 2 weeks prior. Yep. So if you want to capture some of those little run-ups, obviously the downfall to doing that is if the stock obviously just plainly drops the 2 weeks prior. But if it stays flat or starts pushing in the right direction, you start to see those thetas about 2 weeks prior. Tanya, what is happening? Rock says, good morning, DJ and RLT family. Marcus says, good morning. Man, I like the positivity. Give me some positivity in the AM. All right, so we got the market, stepping on the positivity for the bulls. Bears feeling pretty good. Hector posted a bunch of bear faces up in the chat. And yeah, I agree, at least at the open. But we definitely have a retest gap. The interesting thing enough is, so we ran into, if you guys remember the afternoon room from Monday that I did, right? So we really three outcomes. Three outcomes. One is like this. I had one that was kind of like this, dip first, and then we come back. And then option three was this. Option three was what I was kind of hoping for, because that'd be fun. But I don't mind this one either. I do think this is still long-term. I'm not going all bearish yet. I think this is still just a dip down, and we get bought back up. However, though, two things to really want to look at and consider today. Number one, what kind of gap is this? We got a retest gap, right? So, all right, I would think that we could get bought up. Question is where, and there's a lot of buying support down here. So that's the positive note of things. I think we could get a little bit of a rally. I mean, maybe not the very first candle out of the gate. In fact, I usually hope that candle goes with the original trend of sell and we could take some kind of break above it. But yeah, we're pretty much in that buy spot. Two things I don't like, since we're going to just go with some positives and some deltas on this. That 413.56, we're opening back below that. So that was a target we've had for a long time when we were all in this trend down here. So that's going to provide us with a little bit of resistance. That would take us essentially to that retest. And then what happens from there? We still are very, very news heavy. So keep that in mind. Very, very news heavy. So obviously debt ceiling's not been raised, and the closer we get to the debt ceiling date without doing anything about it, the more nervous people will be. I still think overall we probably raise the ceiling, and I think going to the last second, if not even a day after, is my theory on what actually happens. But I do think the debt ceiling gets raised. Again, not good for the markets. It's all political, I think, at this point, and I think it does get raised. We'll see. I mean, there's the black swans all the time out there in the market, so we'll see what happens. And maybe this is the first time in history that it doesn't, and we buck the trends. But I don't know. But yeah, I'm still thinking of where can I buy some stocks on this little bit of a pullback. what's some good entry prices. We got the Qs. Qs opening right at that 10 EMA. We are at one level of support. This is also a retest gap, so I could see this thing get bought up. Probably pretty close to early in the morning. If it does want to dip down one more time, the next little target on this thing would be about 328.44. So we can see what happens with that. Xander says, thanks for your channel, man. I've learned so much from you. Man, I'm just showing up because you guys show up, to be honest. But I hope you do learn something. I hope you guys take something away each and every day. It doesn't matter if you make $1 million today or 10 years from now, but it's just that baby step in the right direction. Let's go. All right. If you have any stocks in the chat that you guys want to hear or see, or anything fun that's gapping, Lauren off the bat wants to go with Kiss, which is Kohl's. All right, Kiss gapping up a little bit, 12% gap. At least it was pre-market, but nice little gap. Keep in mind, yeah, I've been bullish on this one for a little bit now. Started to buy some for the long term down here for the divvies, and I do obviously. It's a love-hate relationship now with Kohl's because I actually want to go down so I can build out bigger positions over time. But I'll take the win, especially on a little bit of a down day. It is. Let me look at one more thing. Let me just look at the weekly real quick. We're now gapping above 2 weeks too, huh? Yeah, I think on this one. So on the weekly, we have that 10 EMA right there. We do have a little bit of probable resistance that we're pulling into. All right. This green week does not matter because this is still this week. So this is actually going to be a big green candle if it holds up there, which would look decent. I think this one probably actually fades though with this hold here, this 10 EMA coming in on the weekly. So I don't know how bullish I want to get yet. I mean, even more bullish than I was before, I guess. But see if we could come down a little bit on this one. We have good little resistance there, good resistance here. We're kind of hanging out, but it is a pretty sweet gap. The one thing I like a lot on Kohl's, besides the fact that it's putting some gains into the account today, is the volume that came on this one, right? This is starting to look a little trappy, right? A little bit trappy. So this would have been kind of your double bottom. Let me take some of these lines off. This would have been your double bottom right here, right? The fact that we broke that double bottom, we had high volume coming in, people thinking this thing is going short, and DJ's thinking, nah, this is going to go long. He got trapped. Then we have a little bit of a harame and inside day, and then all of a sudden this gap up. So anybody in here, I think we are trapping a lot of people. I think I was looking before in the market. I think a lot of retail is doing good today. Tech is actually a little bit on the weaker side. So we'll see. But this could be an interesting gap. I just have to worry about this little resistance up here. So see if we can get some kind of a fade first and then move. Again, keep in mind it's Kohl's up 12%. That's I don't know. That seems like a lot to me. But we'll see what happens. And they did report earnings. TradingView actually just updated it. So before I looked, I didn't see it. Surprise beat by 130% on earnings per share, and then surprise loss of $65 million. So beat on earnings per share, missed on, I mean, it's not the strongest report ever, but that's some positivity. And we are definitely trapping some people. So I already have it pretty high on my list. We'll see what happens with that. Macy's, yep, again, another retailer. I kind of want to play some retailers today. Kind of want to play some retailers. Macy's. Another gap and go. I don't think this one's as strong as Kohl's. We have this high volume candle, looks very similar to Kohl's, but we're not breaking out of it yet. So we're not really trapping every person in this or this entire kind of sideways consolidation. See if this one also fades down. So if we're going to try to get it, let's get it lower. I would even say maybe we could try for like 1524, stop at like 1467. I don't know if that's too big. And then we're going to have 1578 is a probable target, unless retail really, really goes crazy today. So it's still a little bit in that consolidation, which I don't like. I'm not going to be buying this one at open for sure. I'm going to actually play this almost like it's a retest gap, even though it is a gap and go. So I'll be cautious at open on this one just because we're in that range. But looks decent. Kohl's is only 19.4%. Do they really have that? Hold on. Is Kohl's really that shorted? Yee. Apparently, I was the only person thinking that was going long. Okay. Man, that I think you just intrigued me to play that one for sure today. I did like the valuation down there. So AAPL, real virtual demand in the house. Quick BTC. So Bitcoin target analysis. Is that the TA, Xander? Just help me out with that one. I think it's a target analysis. Apple, a little bit of a gap down on Apple, so it does look weak. We're starting to break some pivots again. Support still coming in. I don't want to count Apple out yet. This is a retest gap. See if it comes down a little bit more. First spot I would look at is 169.80-81. If the market really wants to sell off, though, if we could get somewhere around, I'm going to set the alert for 168.68. See if we get down there first. That would give us a bigger move. It's almost an island reversal. This thing better retest today. This is usually island reversals a little bit less amount of candles, but island reversal essentially, where's that pen, is when you have a gap up. It's not quite because of where we gap. We're very close. Man, this thing is very close to island reversal, which would be very, very bearish. Very extremely bearish. This thing has to come up and kind of do that to negate that. Plus, you also have this one. I mean, we gapped up for sure, but like, yeah, I think we closed it. So it's not, I don't know if it's technically, it's very close to it though. So we have to watch on this one. But yeah, we should be trapping some people on this thing. Obviously, bullish has been the trends. Probably deserves a little bit of a pullback. Went pretty far, pretty fast. We have one spot over here. I'm going to see if I can get it a little bit lower, or at least see what happens when we're down at that 168.68 zone to probably try to play that retest. So we got the alert out. We'll see what happens on that one. We got NVIDIA. Oh, technical analysis. Okay, got you. Yep. Yeah, for some reason, I don't know. I was off yesterday. My brain is thinking differently. All right, we got NVIDIA. Yeah, I think I made a small trade. I had an opportunity to get a trade in. I was like, nothing looks good. I made a little bit on Disney in the bullish direction early, like very small, and then that's all I played. All right, we got NVIDIA is a gap down, also a retest gap. However, the fact that we're breaking this candle. So again, I'll always say this. It's a retest candle. There's a retest gap. However, the candle that I like to play to base my actual sentiment off of is what is the main candle that actually caused somebody to feel a certain way. Right? So on this one, everyone's jumping in. They're all bullish. We have 3 days of inside resting. Right? So even though this candle's red and we're gapping down, it's going to be a little tricky. So I think this is the candle we're actually going to want to move off of. Right? Because anybody that did buy on that day is trapped. The one thing that could give us a little bit of grace period is the 10 EMA is sitting right there. But I think we're going to start to lean a little bit more negative on NVIDIA than positive after breaking that with that amount of volume. If this thing comes up, we'll have to see where today closes. But if we retest and we close anywhere in here, still bad. If we could close inside this candle, then that would look a little bit more trappy, and that will give us our potential push for the next little move. Otherwise, if we close below this candle today, that's going to set us probably down a little bit further. And I don't know if this is like a big massive sell-off coming our way or not, but it's had quite the run. Nvidia, I like how everyone just uses $100 as a target. CJ's in the house. What's up, CJ? Yeah, we got DraftKings apparently go to 100. We got what was the other one? Rock had another one going to 100 too. And now we got Nvidia to the downside to 100. I like it at 125, but I'll just probably never own it, to be fair. Oh yes, let's see what Square's doing. Square to 100. All right, we tried to set this one up in the well, we considered it at least in the swing room, which was Monday, would have never got filled. So essentially we don't need those lines. And again, we were pretty spot on as far as what we wanted to do with it. Obviously, we never got filled on it, but the reason we took PayPal over Square, and maybe none of them would have worked out. We'll see. I did get triggered into PayPal for a swing, but I was very concerned about this little volume area. Looks like we got into that yesterday and did get rejected. So see if we get a little bit of a further pullback. I would love to see this thing come back again. Going back down here, double bottom and push up. That would be amazing. Not sure if it happens, but if it does, that would be spectacular. Newsom has Square set up. Let me see if I can find that real quick. For a swing trade. Swing trade. Newsom. So he's got $6.26. Did he get filled? He's in on that one. If he set it up yesterday, then no fill. If he set it up on the 22nd. What's today? 24th. Oh yeah, it says active. So yeah, he's in. He's got to stop at 55.28. Yeah, it was looking decent. I mean, again, I wanted this to pull back a little bit more. But let's go to swing that I got out there for right now. And I got a tight stop on this thing, admittedly so, but if I get stopped there, I get stopped there. It's either going to trap me, stop me. But we still have all the VPOCs all underneath us. We still got a retest into here. This is technically a retest gap. And like I said yesterday, we were I don't mind getting filled at that spot. That's where I like to try. It was essentially at the lows of yesterday. And then, of course, we get a little added pressure to the market. So gapping down slightly on PayPal. But again, this should be a retest. Doesn't mean it has to work or move higher or anything like that. But so far, definitely me in this one. All right, we got Amazon, and then we'll take a look at Bitcoin, AMZN. Amazon to 200. No, we got to stick with the $100. My brain can't even calculate $200 at this point. Just too used to the $100, which would be negative for Amazon. Let's see. Kind of hanging out, still inside the range of yesterday. Not too much there for right now. BTC, USD, Bitcoin. Bitcoin. Needs to hold here. To me, Bitcoin looks a little bit head and shoulderish, which is not fantastic if you're a bull. So there's the left shoulder, there's the head, there's the right shoulder. That would make this your neckline. This was probably essentially the retest into that neckline. So what I would be concerned about and looking for is if this thing does break down, Bitcoin should have a decent amount of room to run, as we don't really have any real liquidity to hold us up there. We have a couple moving averages coming in. Maybe could look to save us, but realistically, like I said, the moving average is always kind of telling us the past of where the prices have been, not exactly so much where the range would be. But yeah, I'd be looking for about a 23, roughly about 23,000 will be the target for Bitcoin. If this does not hold, which that is not a great looking chart for Bitcoin. It's got to start making some new higher highs. It's got to get above 30K again for any type of shot. But yeah, I would be a little bit more to the bear side on the monopoly money Bitcoin. Tesla. So interesting spot that it's got rejected off of yesterday. That is the pure downtrends. That one got hit. We still have that gap at 140 something. 146. I don't think that one got filled yet. 143, 146, somewhere in that zone. So we are right back into this thing. And because we haven't broke yet, my targets would probably be closer to about 176 at that point. That should be our support. So I don't know what happens on this one because we are back inside of that little pennant pattern. We do obviously have some kind of momentum pushing us in. I would say this looks like a 1, a 2, a 3. Most likely what happens is we get the 4 into here, we get the 5, and then if we get the roll down, that's where it happens. So you're kind of 50-50 on this one in terms of where it goes. Today, at least, probably will fill this gap. Question is, where do we buy it? That would be my bigger question that I would have to ask. That would be a trap if that comes in. So looking for like a 179.68. That's not a comfortable buy because it's breaking that big massive candle. Maybe tries to hold a little bit sooner. Look for about 180.89. So about $1.20 to the downside. And then try to play that retest. If you're bullish, you're probably gonna want to save this thing. If you got in anywhere here, you're bullish. You might be feeling a certain kind of way, but that was a good push right into that downtrend line. I had a short setup at 190, but got scared. Huge chicken. I mean, I don't think it's a bad thing to be a chicken anymore, to be honest, because chickens are pretty valuable. Price of chickens they're up there. So if there's ever a time in history to be a chicken, it's now. Know your worth. Know your worth, Hector. All right, let's see what we got. Win says, take off your shoes and use your toes. That'll get you to 20. Yeah. I'm gonna need some AI to help me get to the rest of it though. I'm gonna need about 80 more. All right, let's see what else we got. DraftKings from Scott DKNG. We got some. Yep, coffee's not Cuban. It's disappointing today. All right, we got DraftKings. So DraftKings, a little bit of a gap down again. We're going to see these retest gaps all over the place. It's going to make today a little bit tricky, I think. Definitely a little downward pressure in the market, but I think this can recover. I just don't know when. I think my plan of action has to be either try Coles. Even Coles is jumping even further now. Stick to anything retail, I think. What about Carnival Cruise? Look for some of these cruise ships. They're all gapping down too. Carnival. I think there's some news out of China, I believe, where COVID's coming back. So that could give some negative pressure into some of the cruise ships. Shop isn't bad. Yeah, something that might have to do with retail. I mean, Shop is still gapping down. Shop does look like the rest of it. there's not a huge amount of gaps that I'm like, man, this is. Shop. I'd probably wait for that fade up higher and then look to get some kind of a breakdown. I definitely have way too many pictures up on this thing. Let's do this. Take all this off. We're getting a little closer to my 85 target. That's fun. A little bit closer before I probably eventually start buying some DIS or at least selling some puts on it. Disney's on sale. Yes and no. They're cheap. They're cheap for right now, but not cheap for recession. So if we start hitting even a mild, well, two things. One, China news just came out about COVID maybe coming back. That would be a negative effect for them. They're also in the cruise business too. They have hotel rooms that are like $4,000 a night. I wish I was making that up. I think that's the Star Wars rooms. So if you're a massive Star Wars fan that's doing really well in life, you can stay there. It's a very niche group. But I think they just closed those ones because after like a year, I don't think anyone's been there. So yeah, I think they are relatively cheap. You do have to worry about the subscriber growth of Disney Plus, but again, the numbers are going to, and I do think Disney has the ability to drop a decent amount more, just because I think investors are looking at Disney as like, oh man, yeah, Disney, they're losing subscribers. But what people don't realize is they were trying to get 100 million subscribers or 100,000 subscribers or something like that within 5 years. Like they had a 5-year plan, whatever that number was. It was 100 something. They hit that within 4 months because of COVID. So they had an extreme boost. Yeah, you're not expecting probably to keep all of them after COVID ends and people are trying to move subscriptions around, do things like that. So they're still way ahead of pace. So I still like them, but I think people are getting thrown off a little bit by those numbers. So I think it's a misread by the market for sure. But I do think the misread continues. Some super rich nerds. KS long. Yeah, I'm looking for Cole's long, but I kind of want that thing to fade first. It's going to make it tough. Abercrombie and Fitch. Okay, let's add it to the list. And we only got like seconds until the market opens. Decent gap. Again, it's into a little bit of resistance. We'll have to see what happens, but beautiful gap. Retail is probably the way to focus today. Look for anything in the retail market. Otherwise, unfortunately, this is the time where I got to just disconnect from YouTube. You guys are absolutely incredible. If you have not yet, hit the like, the thumbs up, hit that notification bell, and whatever other YouTube says to smash things and do things. And I don't know. Just come back tomorrow. We'll do this again. Just come back tomorrow. We'll run it up again.